Okay, we'll call the May 22nd, 2024 Planning Commission meeting to order. Ms. Quinn, would you please call the roll call?
Jake Castile. Here. Jim Jackson.
Here.
Pete McGorry.
Here.
David Miller.
Here.
Steve Pajali.
Here.
Connor Whalen.
Here.
Mike Zuloff.
Here.
Thank you. Next item up is the approval of the minutes from April 24. Has everybody had a chance to review those minutes?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Okay, before we get to new business, Mr. Hastings had a request to introduce his new assistant.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my pleasure to introduce the new Assistant Law Director for the City of Sandusky, Melanie Murray, who started yesterday, and we're looking forward to working with her.
Thank you. Does anybody around the table have any questions for Ms. Murray? Mr. Miller?
I'm not sure, did I understand you're a recent law graduate?
Yes, I graduated last week, actually. Yep, from Cleveland State Law School.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Ms. Murray worked for Perkins Township when I was at Regional Planning. You were a planner, did a nice job, and I think you worked on the comprehensive plan, if I remember right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's also worked on our Charter Commission in the past.
okay. Well, good luck, and we're glad to have you on board.
Thank you.
Moving into new business, our first item is 416 Warren Street. Mr. Oaks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This site is Zone CS Commercial Service. The surrounding zoning is to the north, CS Commercial Service and R2F two-family residential. To the east is R2F two-family residential. To the south is CS Commercial Service, and to the west is CS Commercial Service. The existing use of this site is a single-family residential unit. The proposed use is changing to multifamily residential. The site is approximately 0.3 acres. The proposal is to add an addition onto the rear of the structure, a new parking lot, and an access driveway for future tenants. The new parking lot will provide 12 parking spaces and a future storage structure. The structure has historically been a two-family residential unit, but was previously altered to one unit prior to the existing owner's ownership of the property. On April 4th of 2024, the applicant brought forward a zoning map amendment to change the existing CS Commercial Service zoning to RMF multifamily residential, which was unanimously supported by the Planning Commission. A public hearing was conducted for the rezoning at City Commission on May 13, 2024. There were comments. Legal legislation will be on the May 28, 2024 City Commission agenda. The home is currently unoccupied and under a remodel. The applicant is proposing to put 6 total units in this structure. The strictest review of the off-street parking standards for this use at this site would be 9 spaces. It is well below the 25 space unit, which would then require landscaping. Then again, in general, staff recommends adding trees and landscaping as part of any site plan approval. And in this case, along Warren Street, get to there, and then in the rear of the parking lot, just to add some beautification to the site. There's no concerns or comments from any other department staff. Based on this information, staff recommends the approval of the proposed site plan at 416 Warren Street with the following conditions. That's that all applicable permits are obtained through the building department, engineering department, division of planning, and any other applicable agency prior to any construction. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Mr. Oaks around the table?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Zuloff.
I wonder if the planner would care to elaborate a little bit on the parking and what the thinking is on, and clarify what we're looking for as far as a contract. Shall be a contract covering a period of time.
Mr. Chairman, I guess I'm not fully understanding the question. If you could just repeat exactly what information you're looking for.
Well, I'm sorry. I should have clarified that better. In the code, it talks about, well, first of all, can we clarify the situation with parking? I mean,
Sure.
Do we have everything required?
Absolutely. Through the chair to Mr. Zuloff, the code requires, in this case, 9 parking spaces. He's proposing 12, so he's over the
So
requirement.
you've got well over the required parking, because it's often a concern in these cases. So I guess that obviates any need to address the second part of the question. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any additional questions, comments for Mr. Oaks? Is the applicant here tonight? Okay, I don't see him. I was going to ask him to come up and if he wanted to add anything. If not, does anybody want to make a motion on this particular project?
I'll make a motion to approve the application, subject to the conditions put on by the planning department.
It's been moved by Mr.
Recommended by the planning, I should say, recommended by the planning
Okay.
department.
It's been moved by Mr. McGorry. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Miller seconds.
Can we- Mr. Chair, can
Discussion?
clarify, do you mean the requirement on here or the landscaping recommendation?
In the brochure. Yeah,
In the report. You're talking about the one condition
yeah,
recommended by the
Staff.
yeah.
right.
Any other discussion? If not, Ms. Rambo, would you poll the commission?
Mike Zuloff,
Yes.
Connor Whalen,
Yes.
Steve Pajali,
Yes.
David Miller,
Yes.
Pete McGorry,
Yes.
Jim Jackson,
Yes.
Jade Castile.
Yes.
Thank you. The second item on the agenda is 2055, 2071, 2073, and 2075 Cleveland Road. Mr. Oaks, would you inform us on this application?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This site is zoned RB roadside business. The adjacent zoning to the north is RMF residential multifamily. To the east is RB roadside business and residential multifamily. To the south is R160 single-family residential and R2F two-family residential, and to the west is RB roadside business. The existing use of the site is both a business and vacant land. The proposed use is Key West North Resort, a motel with mixed-use amenity center. The site is approximately 9.915 acres. The proposal is to construct the Key West North Resort, a 99-unit resort motel consisting of freestanding cottages, repurposing the existing 9,400 square foot building at 2055 Cedar Point Road address as the amenity center, and a 111,105 square foot parking lot. The amenity center will be a combination of restaurant and bar, games, retail, golf cart rental, and sports use, open to the public, and a pool for resort guests. The future Sandusky Bay pathway runs along the northern edge of this property, and the site plan includes connectivity for resort guests to access the pathway and for pathway users to reach the amenity center. There will be 3 types of cottages. Just give me one moment here to get to them, all of which vary by size and design, listed as Unit A, B, and C. The site program consists of 89 Type A units, 5 Type B units, and up to 5 Type C units. The new parking lot will provide, give me one more second to get back to the site plan, 96 public parking spaces, and each cottage will have off-street parking for up to 2 vehicles. The existing and former greenhouse campus will be demolished as part of this process, and the existing rental home will remain and be managed by the resort. The existing Ford dealership building will be repurposed, as mentioned, for the amenity center. The parking requirements according to each proposed land use for the site are: the pool requires 33 spaces, the restaurant and bar would require 69 spaces, the outdoor sports area would require 12 spaces, the motel 120 spaces. Total spaces required at this site, after a strict interpretation of the code, is 234. The proposed spaces are 303, well over the minimum requirement. The proposal is above the 25 space minimum for landscaping requirements. 4 landscape islands measuring at 100 square feet each are required, including at least 1 hardy deciduous tree, Area land not occupied by trees shall be consistent with ground cover, and the island shall be contained with a poured-in-place precast 6-inch high concrete curb. All these are being followed by the applicant. Staff has determined the parking requirements are met and all land area and use standards are also met. The light fixture designs, one more moment, get to them, are fully shielded and acceptable as submitted as long as all light temperatures are 3,000 K or less. Each fixture is available in multiple light temperatures, and staff directed the applicant to choose fixtures with appropriate light temperature to be international dark sky compliant. There were comments left by fire and engineering. Those are currently being addressed. Staff and also the applicant have been working together to get those resolved. There was no additional comments aside from engineering and fire. And based on that, staff recommends the approval of the proposed site plan at 2055, 2071, 2073, and 2075 Cleveland Road with the following conditions. That's that all applicable permits are obtained through the building department, engineering department, Division of Planning, and any other applicable agency prior to any construction. 2 is that parcels 57-02560.000, parcel 57-02810.000, parcel 57-01025.000, parcel 57-01027.000, parcel 57-01035.000 are combined prior to any construction of this site. Number 3 is that color temperature of light fixtures does not exceed the 3,000 Kelvin. And then 4 is that the remaining engineering and fire department comments are resolved in detailed design phases prior to any construction. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oaks. Any questions for Mr. Oaks from around the table?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Zuloff.
we have customarily required that lighting be full cutoff or fully shielded in the past. I don't know that we have a lighting ordinance yet, or did we ever pass?
We do not have a lighting ordinance in place, but
Yeah, it's-
all the fixtures they submitted do have the IDA compliant stamp on them.
The
and
what
The
compliant?
International Dark Sky compliant stamp on them.
Okay, I didn't see it on the Miranda small area luminary, this one. Can you help me find it on that sheet?
So if you look at the screen, you can see it's like a blue medallion of the IDA stamp, that is an approved.
Oh, okay, all
design.
right. I was skeptical because it tends to be difficult to comply if they're not horizontal, if they're tilted, but there might be some detail underneath that would make them compliant. So I'm satisfied by that. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from Mr. Oaks?
Are we going to hear from the applicants
I
at all?
was
or-
going to go to if the
Well, I
applicants
might-
would like, Mr. Zuloff, please, if the applicants would like to come up and speak on their behalf on this project and state your name and your address.
Well, I was trying to respond to your invitation from additional questions or comments.
Oh,
from you.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead,
I
Mr.
didn't make that clear. So, the fire department, could you expand on the fire department's comments?
Yeah, sure thing. Through the chair to Mr. Zuloff.
Mr. Oaks.
The main pieces, there's still some others that are being worked out, but the two main pieces were, if you look on the screen right now, the service drive behind the amenity center originally was a dead end. The fire department asked for that to be either a roundabout loop, excuse me. So they chose the loop. The second one was they asked, and I'll go to the utility plan, they asked just to show in detail where the proposed fire hydrants are going to be. So those two have been addressed. I believe there's some other just smaller details they're working out, but those are the two big items that discussed.
Right. So what I'm hearing, and I don't remember the exact words, but it was the fire department. What did your report say? I can't find the page now.
Through the chair, if I may, Mr. Oaks mentioned the two comments, the service drive, that's to make sure that there's adequate access to the amenity center and that the vehicle can get out of there, the
Right.
fire vehicle can get out of there. So the fire chief will need to sign off on that before the final construction, whether it's a turnaround at the end of it or it's connecting to the Northern Street
I'm sorry,
grid.
say again, the fire department said what?
They will need to sign off on it before it's constructed. They're comfortable with it being approved at the site plan level at this point. And they want to sign off exactly where all the fire hydrant locations are going to be, which is
Right.
in more detailed
Yeah, there's a
design.
lot of pages here, and I lost my page where your recommendations are. I think maybe I found, no, I don't.
Yeah, so we added the condition, because both engineering and fire were comfortable with the site plan being approved as is today.
I see it now.
We added the condition that they have to sign off on those details in further detailed design, which is like the precise
Yeah.
locations of the fire hydrants, the turnarounds, the turning radiuses of the roadways.
So thank you. And it's a little, the print's kind of fine. Does the site plan define the nature of the pavement and so forth on the drives?
Asphalt, that's correct. Yeah,
It's asphalt, right, okay. Because, very often, we approve this, and then somebody howls when it's built, saying, well, why did you do that? You guys are, overlooked something, to put it nicely. So, and I trust everyone's going to be okay with the condition that the fire department and the engineering sign off on this. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Would you like to state your name and address and offer any additional comments?
Sure. Jeff Foster, Pato Architects, 1220 West 6th Street, Cleveland. Just here to answer any of the questions.
Any questions for Mr. Foster? I guess not. The only question I would have when I look through the literature, by the way, it's well done. I think this is some really good marketing here. It's well done. I just wondered what the split was going to be between one bedroom and two bedrooms.
So we're honing that down, but it's roughly a 50-50 split on the cottages.
I didn't know if you had some sort of data that said that the twos would be better than the ones, but.
Chris is still working through that on the marketing side, but it's roughly a 50-50.
Okay. That was my only question, just a comment. I think this is going to be a great project, and it's a nice reuse of that site. So I would drive by there and think, oh, geez, well, how is this site going to be reused? And this didn't enter into my mind, but it's going to be a great project.
Well, what excites us the most is it is a community, right? That's the thing that we're aiming for, and you can see the marketing materials are a reflection of that. But this is really a destination, but it's a place in and of itself, so we're very excited about that.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Zuloff.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I think it's going to bring a bunch of visitors here, and it's fun to see this kind of progress. In a way, it's like your first impression might be, well, it looks like a trailer park without the wheels, but I'd want to stay here, right? And so tell me a bit about maybe if you could tell us about the construction, because I notice we have a minority of them are, I think you call them condos or anything that looks like it's on stilts, which is really neat. Those are each single family, or are those like duplexes or something?
No, so the Type Bs and the Type Cs are conventional construction. And
Okay.
those are 3 and 4 bedroom units, so they're much larger units.
Right, and then the smaller units are going to be basically pull them off a trailer, right?
They're prefab construction.
Yeah, all prefab. So drop it on a slab, basically. I imagine you'll have to have the slabs plumbed and everything, or are they all self-contained? Or
There's a massive amount of site work that goes into this. Each of them has their own restroom facilities, sanitary, water, power.
Right.
So we have a lot of infrastructure work to do with this. So that's our
Right.
next challenge is, take advantage of the summer weather to get some of this site work taken care of.
So are the floors right on the slab, or are these like crawl-spaced or anything?
They're raised up and they're crawl
Yeah, but-
space, yeah.
I see, right. So at least you got some flexibility. You can sort of standardize the mechanicals and then connect them
Correct.
Very good. Thank you.
Through you,
Anything
Mr. Chairman.
else, Ms. Castillo?
I just wanted to say I'm also excited about it. I think it's a great site plan. I know that property has been vacant for a while, and also we've had a lot of people in the community express interest in having Airbnb and some more transient rentals. And when people vacation, they'll have an option to, not stay in a big hotel. So I think it's a good use of the land, and I'm excited to see how the project develops.
Anything else? I had one final question. Did you consult Mr. Dave Foster when you put all these details?
He has a habit of kind of giving his opinion, whether you ask for it or not.
You know, he is the chairman of regional planning.
He
so
is.
He has a little expertise on
He
these
does have
matters.
some teeth in more ways than one.
Okay. If not, is there a motion to approve this application?
I'll make a motion. Oh. A motion to approve contingent on the staff recommendations, the fire department and the engineering department as well.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Mr. Miller? Ms. Rambo, would you call for the vote?
David Miller,
Yes.
Mike Zuloff,
Yes.
Jake Castile,
Yes.
Connor Whalen,
Yes.
Jim Jackson,
Yes.
Pete McGorry,
Yes.
Steve Pajali.
Yes. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I know.
Is there anything else for the good of the order?
I did have a few announcements through the chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Blair.
I wanted to share last Monday at the most recent city commission meeting, they approved the Columbus Avenue Streetscape Reconstruction Project. So that'll start construction this year, and that was awarded to Great Lakes Demolition. And there's some meetings coming up to meet the contractors. If you're interested in those, you can let me know. Those invitations have gone out to the stakeholders downtown. And then they also awarded the Wheels Park project. So that should, I'm not sure when that's going to be constructed. That engineering and Public Works is now managing both of those. Just thought that that would be of interest to the commission. Also, on Tuesday, May 28th, there is a ribbon cutting at 4 p.m. for the Warren Street. It's going to be at Huron Park, so that's a finished $3 million project that the city constructed, the new Warren Street. If you haven't checked it out, go take a look, but there's going to be a ribbon cutting again. That's Tuesday, May 28th at 4 p.m. at Huron Park. And then finally, I got an invitation from the Health Department, the Captor Rogowski House that recently went through site planning and construction. So we got a site plan approval from Planning Commission. That's completed. They're having an open house on Friday, June 7th from 2 to 5. And there will be comments by Marcy Captor at 3 p.m. So if you're interested to tour that structure that went through Planning Commission, you're invited to go take a look at that as well.
Again, the date.
That was Friday, June 7th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Blair.
Thank you.
Before we adjourn, I did see a gentleman come in the front row. Did you have anything you would want to comment on, sir? And if so, could you come to the podium and state your name and address?
Good afternoon. My name is David Givens, and my address is 1103 Wayne Street, which is the southwest corner. And I understand that you folks have done something with the dark skies, and I've had an issue in my neighborhood for some time, and I don't know if it applies, and I'd like to find out if it does. There's an apartment building in the middle of the block on Columbus Avenue, the parking lot behind, and the owner put up 3 very bright LED lights to light his parking lot up at night, and there are no shades, and they light up the backs of everybody's house on my block, and they shine in my windows and light up my yard at night. There are no dark skies in our neighborhood. So I'm curious to find out if this is going to apply.
I guess I would defer to Mr. Oakes on that question, or?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chairman. So even without the dark sky language which we've brought forward, it has not been finalized by City Commission yet. Even without that, what you could do is talk with code compliance. There is language in our zoning code that would protect residential uses from these types of situations. So any light that is shining into your property, as an example, could be handled through our zoning code as it currently sits.
You know, I called the city when he first put the lights up. I talked to a very polite young man. He said, I'll talk to the owner and see what we can get done. The owner told him, not interested, beat it. And that was what I got back from the city.
Mr. Chairman.
Sorry, there's nothing we can do.
Mr. Zuloff.
Right, and this is exactly why we want a lighting ordinance. People say, you know, why would you want to trample on somebody's property rights and let them put whatever lighting they want? And this is a poster child example of why. It's, the principle here is light trespass. It's imposing unwanted light on your property. It's interfering with your peaceful enjoyment of your property, in my opinion, and we need sections in the law to protect you that way. Unless someone can show that that level of lighting is necessary, then there's no excuse for kind of ruining your experience because somebody else isn't interested. What I believe, what you heard about is that this commission recommended an ordinance be passed and be sent along to the city commission. It's in the zoning code. That's the way, one of the ways of passing zoning ordinances is recommendation to the city commission. And I've kind of wanted that for a long time. We were assured that this version of it, which I didn't have any input into before it was brought to us, we were assured that it would have no impact on an existing lighting, and I don't quite agree with that. I think it's better to at least put a sunset, maybe not require immediate remediation, but require that after a period of time you gotta fix it. You still have the option of complaining under our nuisance ordinances if you can make the case that it's a nuisance. But if that doesn't work, you can go to court. And I'm not speaking as a lawyer because I really don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe our law director would care to correct me on any fine points.
Mr. Chair, in response to Mr. Zula, yeah, we don't normally advise private citizens on their rights. Our job
Of course.
is to advise the commissions and the city. But I think you stated the outline of the law fairly accurately. Zoning constitutionally cannot be retroactive, but nuisance law is potentially applicable, and the citizen may have a private right, in which case he'd have to consult with his own lawyer.
So, but Mr. Hastings, it's my understanding, and Mr. Oaks too, that we already have something on the books to address a situation like this in the zoning code. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And if so, perhaps the solution would be to have Mr. Givens and you sit down and you can give him the details and maybe we can come to a solution.
Absolutely. I have the zoning code in front of me if you'd like to hear it. So it's section 1145.17, landscape features and yard structures. It's under F, which is other structures. So it says floodlights, searchlights, loudspeakers, or similar structures shall not be erected or used in a residential district in any manner that will cause hazardous or annoyance to the general public or to the occupants of the neighboring property.
There you go.
That sounds like what I need.
Yes.
Now-
So perhaps Mr. Oaks can get with you after this meeting and trade contact information. We can resolve this issue.
Yeah,
Sure
that'd be
thing.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Zula.
Yeah, I do hope that we can resolve it pretty quickly, but, the staff, which is often pressed for time, has to have the will and the time, to do that work. And then we also run the risk of, it's unconstitutionally vague. What does a nuisance mean, and stuff like that. So I really hope that we get our lighting ordinance passed so that we have specific solutions that we're saying what's not allowed. The lighting ordinance will tell us what is allowed.
Yes. Well, thank you, Mr. Zuloff. And I think that the lighting ordinance is a separate issue. In
Of
this
course.
case, I've got the utmost faith in Mr. Oaks, and I know he has the will to take care of this. So, any other comments, questions, discussion? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
It's been moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. We're adjourned.
Well,